Today we're going to continue what we started on Friday, the halacha of lending money, beribis to Nochri. We said that all poskim saying it's allowed today. So there was few questions over here after that shiur. One of them was, so according, we also mentioned that a person mechuyev also to, when he has the money, the ability to lend money to a yid, they have to help him, and especially the people that are in business of lending money to a Nochri, making a lot of money. So the halacha says, when we read it in Daf Ayin Aleph, it says over there, Amar Rav Nachman, Amar Lihuna, L'nitzra da'afilu the Nochri beribis v'Yisrael b'chinam. If you could have the opportunity to make money by lending money to a Nochri, making money on it, and comes to you a yid, the ones wants a gemach from you, so the gemach comes first before you make money on the Nochri. So the halacha, the Chavetz Chaim Paskin in the Sefer Havas Chesed, that if that's his parnosa, he cannot take away from his own, that's his parnosa, to give it to somebody a gemach. But I'm talking about somebody that's more than parnosa. Parnosa is making good money from this. He could afford to do both. So I recommend that all these people that make a lot of money on lending money and money, they should have a gemach too, because this way, if in case a yid come to them for help, they should be able to do a gemach. Otherwise, it could be over and used to the rice and kesef talves ami. That's what's in the Parshas Mishpatim. It says in kesef talves ami. Rashi brings it from Chazal, from the Mechilta. Tana Rabbi Shmuel Omer in kesef talves choiva. Yeah. So that's every im. It's not choiva. Over here, it's choiva. So it's you're mechuyev. It's like any other chiyuv mitzvahs esa. You're mechuyev to do it. Anyway, so a few people ask like this. So what happens if somebody has a savings account? You're making money on it, and then comes a yid, tell him I need a gemach. So you have to take out money of the savings. So I said we're not talking about somebody that lives on a budget. He has the money for bar mitzvah, for a simcha. I'm not talking about that. There's some detail. Depends how much money you have. Talking about the people that make a lot of money on lending money. And they don't have a problem, what I'm going to do, how I'm going to be able to help them. You could do that. You could do both. You could make a lot of money and also help somebody. To them, it's a big chiyuv to have the gemach. Or if somebody doesn't have the time for it, they should give money to gemach, send all the people coming to them to the gemach to take care of the... Now, so somebody argued very hard on this. He said, since the Rishonim, like Rabbeinu Tam, and really all the Achronim follow this psak, that today, it's called G'dei Chayov. That's the Gemara. The Gemara brings this heter that if somebody lend money to a Nochri, it's G'dei Chayov. He needs it for Parnasa. He's allowed to. And the mail, a lot of Rishonim saying everything, especially it's based on the Mordechai, everything is anymore no more restrictions. So even it's more G'dei Chayov. Even you're already a big oisher from this business, you could do it. That's Gezeira of Chazal. Not to lend money, that's the Rabbanon. The Raisa, you allowed it's a mitzvah. We said it. So that Gezerah is gone. If the Gezerah is gone, the Gezerah is Chazal, he could do anything. So he argued, since it's Hakol B'Gdei Chayov, even if somebody is a big Oisher, B'Gdei Chayov, he said it's B'Gdei Chayov, it's called. That's what Rabbeinu Tam says. We have so much taxes, we have so much obligations. So according to this, he's no more mechuyev to give a gemach than anybody else. The meaning, I recommend that they should open a gemach, this gevirim that in the business of lending money to Nochri. Says no, it's like everybody else. Says it's called G'dei Chayov.
He doesn't need it.
Oh no, but the Mordechai came. He says originally the heter of the Gemara was G'dei Chayov, right. But since we were matir, everything was mutter, and that's the lotion was of the Ramah Hakol Mutter Hayom. That's the Mechaber, the Ramah. Everybody masking. Today, there's no restriction to lend the money to a Nochri, even though it was Isur the Rabbanon. Shemayil no the Maisov. Today is no so. According to his svara, he says that also applies. He says to this Indian that if it comes to you a Nochri, he wants money to lend to borrow money from you, and you're going to make money on it. And then Kama Eid, Halacha says you have to give to the Eid first without interest before you make money. That's not shaykh today. But it's my business. I make on the money. I cannot afford to give you. Even I'm a big oisher, he said, because it's everything goes G'dei Chayov. That's what
That doesn't make sense.
Okay. You could argue, by the way, very good, you could argue this. He is, but I'm going to say more scientifically why it's wrong. I'll tell you why. Why is wrong? Because you could argue that. G'dei Chayov, you could say. Everything's called G'dei Chayov. So it's like this. B'chlal, the Isur the Rabbanon, not lending money to Nochri, to begin with, it's a big problem. Why? Because it's based on the Toysas, but the Taz is more, makes it crispy clear. So there is an Indian, Toysas brings many places. And this page, in Masechah Sukkah, the Toysas said that if there is a heter in the Torah b'feirush, you're allowed to do something, Chum cannot answer it. For example, the Torah told you by the Nevelo, yeah, you could give it to the Nochri, or you could have Hanoah from it. By the Nevelo, the Chum cannot answer it. So here's what the Taz is Bekatzer, the Shita of the Toysfos, and many other Rishonim. When you read it, and Koyach be'at Chachomim le'eser dover shepirshu ha'Torah b'ferush le'heter. The Torah says clearly something you're allowed to do, like Nochri Toshik, as we said, that according to a lot of Rishonim, it's mutter. According to the Rambam, it's a mitzvah. How could Bechlal Chachamim come and ask us such a thing? The Torah says it's mutter. That's what he says. The enka lahachmir b'mokam she'en lo isur v'lo heter mefurash min haTorah. Mashenka b'mokam she'esh heter mefurash min haTorah. V'zo b'chal ma'amoram. Anyway, he goes to this, that Lamaisa, he brings it also in Chashal Mishnah, the same idea. He says that Chacham cannot, so how Bechal Chacham asked such a thing over here? It's either mutter to give, according to the Torah, it's Ferish and the Pasuk in Torah, La Nochri Toshik. Either you're allowed, or it's a mitzvah. How could Chacham don't do it? It says in the cloud, you cannot do this. When this doesn't say anything, you could. So many Achronim discuss this issue, some of them like Tzarech Chiyun, the Biyuda and others, but I have a very simple teretz for it. Why the Chacham made the Isur on it. And hey, it's not only a chumash, it's Shlomo Amela, because we brought last week a pasuk in Mishlei, Mar behind the Meshach Betarbis Lechonim Dalim Mikaptzeno, and the Gemara brought over there at Rosh that if you give money beribis to a goy, which is mutter, at the end the government going to take this money. So Shlomo Amela made already a gzeira. Why did he make the gzeira? Shlomo Amela, let's have a pasuk and tell that they are allowed to. So the shit of the Toys was what Shlomo Amela going to do with this shit, or what the Toys going to do with Shlomo Amela. That's how could you? Elamai, since in the drosha, it's not so poshut how to darshan this posuk. There's different way to darshan the posuk. It's not coming to tell you that it's a mitzvah. Maybe it's coming to put another extra essay when you learn to eat that you don't take ribis. There's different droshes we could learn this. Since it's something could be debatable, Chum said, you know what? I see over here a mokem to aseret. I see a mokem to aseret. Said the aseret. So come. That's why the Rishonim came and says, since the whole Isur is Mitzat Chazal was a Bechal Chidush to begin with, and we have a reason, we're gonna that Gezerah goes away. We'll go back to the original Halacha that you're allowed to give a Nochri money to make money on it. But the Halacha, the next Halacha, that what it says in the Pasuk, I just mentioned, Kasav Talmes Amit Mitzvah says the Araisa. That the Gemara brings a raya from the Pasuk. It cannot mean the Pashtus that when a Nochri and a Yid need money, give to the Yid. Of course, it's Pasuk. The Gemara says, the Gemara says, Omar Rav Nachum Alihuna lo nitzra da'afilu lo Nochri beribis ul Yisrael bechinam mid ha'araisa. You have to give to the Yid. So you cannot come now with the heter of Chachomim b'gdei chayav a matir isu d'araisa. You could matter Isur Drabanan to begin with. It's questionable how you could do it. Oh, it's not. Let's say you have a way to that. It's not questionable. Come Isur, you could doiche Isur Drabanan by saying it's B'gdei Chayav. We needed it, but you cannot matter Isur D'Oraisa B'gdei Chayav. Memela, if somebody he making barely parnosa, it's parnosa. It's just B'gdei parnosa. His livelihood. Okay, you're not mechuyev to take away from your own kids to give to someone else. But if somebody he's making a lot of money on it, and many of them make a lot of money on lending money and making money on money, and Ayid come for help, so that's the mitzvah the Araisa is not nullified. It's not, and the Araya also the Rambam brings la halacha in Hilchas Malva Beloida. The Rambam says like this in Perek Halacha Zayin mitzvah lahagdim alvas Yisrael bechinam lalvas akum beribis. That's halacha. So you can't say the halacha was nullified. That halacha is not nullified. Again, that heter of Chachamim gave us b'gdei chayov. It's only took away the gezerah drabanan, but it cannot remove b'gdei chayov chiyuv deraisa. It's chiyuv dememele. I'm going back. I'm asking with myself that you have to people that. Like I said, in this business, or anybody could afford to give it. That's isur that chiyuv deraisa. Somebody come to you for a loan, and you secure. You know he's going to give it back to you. Only if you're not secure, there's a terrible because not a terrible. You don't have to risk your money. But if you know he's going to give it back to you, you have a collateral, you have an orev or whatever. You know you trust him. You mechuyev to lend when a yid come to you for help for halva. You mechuyev to give it to him. And the chiyuv goes. Even you could make money on your money if it's not where you've been beged parnosa. It's already a lot more than you need. You are oisher, definitely you mechuyev to help a yid. So that's what I recommend it. Make a gemach, but a gemach is for people that you give them with free interest, and then there is a money where you can make money. And furthermore, one of the things he argued he said everything is b'gdei chayov. The Alter Rebbe brings that's based on the Gemaras and the Rishonim. When he talks about he was in Egeres HaKodesh, he spent a lot of his ignorance supporting Ani Eretz Yisrael. So one of the things he brings over there, some people time the Chayach HaKodesh, I cannot give to Ani Eretz Yisrael. Those times that they supported, many people made Aliyah, they were very poor in Eretz Yisrael. So he was one of those which is promoted a lot to help them over there. So the time that he says the Alter Rebbe Chayach HaKodesh, he says only we're talking about if you need bread and he needs bread, and if you're going to give him bread, you're going to be without bread. Chayach HaKodesh, you come first. But if you have the bread, now you says I cannot afford him to give him money to buy bread because I need to buy a steak. Says that's not called Chayach HaKodesh. So if you have enough money to buy bread, and you're going to say, I can't give this poor man to eat bread, let him die from hunger because I need to buy steak, that doesn't go chayecha koidmet. So the same thing over here. Chayecha koidmet, that's your parnasa. Your parnasa, that's you making money, and I can't tell you I should not do parnasa to help you. I need it for myself. But it was more than parnasa. You're already making a lot more than what you need. You don't servir everything called b'gdei chayav. Adrabah, you mechuyav to give to Yid when he comes to you for a loan, even before you give that money to a Nochri to make money.
Right.
Yeah.
Then